Welcome!
Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 3 to What If Clara Survived. Now before we get into it, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, all the Google Docs, and everything the Omniverse has to offer, along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse of Nick, sharing the Omniverse around and turning on all Omniversal notifications, and commenting future requests and expectations in the comments section. With all that said, let's begin. We open up where we ended off last time, with Michonne, with Clara and Lily going to look for Rick and everybody else in the group. And meanwhile, Carl is with Rick, and that all goes the same. But eventually, Rick opens the door and sees, looks like it's someone not just for you, Carl, but for us. And he is really happy to see who it is. First, Clara, who's very happy to see Rick and Carl alive. And then Michonne, who talks to Rick and Carl, and that whole thing goes the same. And then Lily, who Rick looks at, but he doesn't know who she is. But she does have a vague sense of familiarity to her. Michonne says she's the sister of the one Rick tried to reason with at the prison. And she says she wasn't there and her daughter was killed by the governor and she was used and with the governor for a short period of time, but never knew about the prison and almost died by her own hands trying to kill Clara. But just like her sister, she never wanted to be there. And she wants to be with the group now to gain forgiveness and be a better person, even though, she didn't kill anybody. Rick processes this for a minute, and he understands. He reasoned with her sister because he knew she didn't want to be there. He knew that mostly all of them didn't want to be there. The governor was a sick, brutal man who tried to sickly brutalize an army just to get what he wanted. And in the end, it didn't work. So he forgives her. She can be a part of the group. He has no problem with that. Lily says she understands, but she doesn't know how she feels even with trying to find a path for herself and this redemption. And she's honestly just freaking out and beside herself, crying and trying to figure out where to go with her life from here. Her daughter's gone, her family's gone. They don't know if they're going to find her sister Tara again. Besides being with this group now, the governor destroyed her. So she doesn't know how she's going to come back from this. But if being with these people means that she can find another way, she'll do it. And Rick says, we all have things we have to make up for in this world. Whether it's the right or wrong thing, we stand by each other no matter what. You're not alone, Lily. After that, Rick and Michonne talk about leaving, but Rick still needs to recover, so they stay there for now. Meanwhile, Daryl and Beth, that whole thing goes the same, along with Carol helping Tyrese, Judith, Lizzie, and Mika, and Maggie, Sasha, and Bob all together. And Tara and Glenn have their whole, reunion or, meeting. Except this time Tara's not so sure about Lily because they didn't see her die or Tara didn't see her get swarmed. So yeah, that's just a minor change. And then they meet Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita and figure out the plan for Washington. But then Joe and the Claimers make their way into the house where Rick and everybody is. Rick still kills Lou and grabs his gun and tries to leave, but he knows that with more people this time, it's going to be a lot more tricky, especially since not all of them would be out. I don't think any of them would be out at all. So if they were, this scene would just go the exact same way. But considering the fact that there's Clara and Lily, I just don't think that they would be out this time. So Rick comes up with a plan. So to make sure that they all get out of there, knowing that Lou is going to turn into a walker, and knowing that he truly has no other choice but to do this, he punches the, starting to become Walker Lou down the stairs. For when the second that he turns into a walker, it'll distract these guys long enough for them to get out of there. So Rick, Carl, Clara, Michonne, and Lily all escape out the window just like Rick, and Rick gets the murder jacket and everything, and they just book it as fast as they can, and then they hear gunshots and commotion, and yeah. But Lily knows it's not going to be enough. Lily says there's only one way to make sure that the claimers don't get them. There's only one way that she can think to matter for this group, and only one purpose that she thinks she has. She gets out a gun and starts bawling. Tell my sister Lily said goodbye. This is for her and for my family. And she just goes straight towards the house, firing her gun, sacrificing herself to make sure everybody else can get away. So Rick, Carl, Michonne, and Clara all just get out of there. Michonne knows also that Clara and Rick seem to have a sort of bonding for each other. She doesn't think they're together, but the looming, bond into relationship that Michonne had sensed and then Rick felt for Michonne, it's not going to be as strong here, because even Michonne knows that with Clara being around and Rick's reaction to her before the whole virus thing changed her back to the way she was and, everything like that, she knows that Rick has a sort of affection for Clara, or at least it's starting to bloom upwards. But she is okay with that and just accepts the fact that eventually Rick and Clara are going to get together. It's just guaranteed at this point. Daryl even knew it too. So she just decides to put herself in the situation to protect Carl and care for him like her own. Even if, her and Rick aren't going to be together, she can still be a helping figure and, guide her and true warrior for Rick's people. Meanwhile, Glenn and Tara stop the bus, or, the vehicle that they're on, and want to get out, but him and Abraham fight, and that whole thing goes the same. And then Daryl and Beth, their whole burning of the cabin, that whole section goes the same. Along with Maggie, Sasha, and Bob, and that whole running to try and find Glenn thing. And then Beth getting taken by Dawn's people. All leading to Daryl meeting the claimers, but there's a difference this time. One claimer is missing. And I bet you guys already know which one in this picture I'm referring to. But just to give you a subtle hint, Len is not there. We already know that Lou was killed in canon, so we're not going to really touch upon him. And I've had him survive before where the claimers have attacked the group, but this is different this time. Len is dead sooner. Because Lily. Now, I could have made it so that Lily survives the claimers, gets away, and the claimers don't kill her. But, yeah, Lily still dies. There really wasn't much to do with her here. And it's not like it's the first time I've made her survive, and it's not like it won't be the last. But against the claimers, heck no, by herself. But it was a good fitting out to kill at least one claimer. So that is why Len is dead early this time. So this means that Joe's persistence into Daryl joining them is stronger. Because he also tells Daryl that he knows that Daryl's a lot like his old buddy Len, who ain't with him no more. He's a bowman. And a strong one at that. Punched him right in the face. So he says, he could use a kind of people like him in his group. Who knows? maybe even a right hand. And so Daryl gets affiliated with the Claimers, but doesn't have a problem with the rabbit this time because nobody else is going to be on his case like Len was. So yeah. Meanwhile, we get Glenn, Maggie, Sasha, Bob, and everybody reuniting. Abraham, Rosita, all of them get to Terminus. That whole section, and then they get locked up, obviously. Then we get Rick, Michonne, and Carl getting intercepted by the Claimers, and Daryl being with them. Except the difference is, Clara's there too, and looking really scared. Daryl gets knocked down after trying to have himself get beaten instead. And while Joe would probably not have the beating that bad, I think the whole teach him all the way thing would still play out here, even with Len dead and him wanting Daryl to supersede as some kind of right hand. But I think it would actually make the beating worse because of the trust that would be more built on Daryl joining the Claimers in this timeline. That's just how I think Joe would operate. But it doesn't matter, because as Joe explains what's going to happen to Clara, Michonne, and Carl after saying Daryl's getting beat to death, it all goes downhill. Rick headbutts Joe, and they all fight. Clara gets a blade, and for the first time since meeting Rick, Clara fights brutally. And she kills the Claimer that was going to, do not nice things to Carl. Dave, or whatever, Tony, whatever the frick his name is. And the rest of the Claimers are killed alongside. So Rick's not getting that overbearing kill that he did before with the dude that Clara kills. But that is not an issue, for he still gets to bite out Joe's throat. So his most devastating kill as of to this day, he still gets it. Michonne comforts Carl, knowing that she made the right choice in not wanting to give up, comforting Carl and being there for him. And Clara tells Carl that he did what he had to do. It might have been the darkest that she has seen a human being become. Darker than ever she thought that she would be, especially right now when she had to fight. But they're all alive. That's all that matters. And Rick and Daryl have the same conversation that they did about, it needed to be done and, everything that happened and where the group's gone and where they're going to go to next, all leading to Terminus. How will Terminus go in this timeline? With Clara and a few minor things having changed the ways of the story going into the future of Clara's survival.
Now get out!
What?
Get out! Everybody get out!